All right, what's up, guys? We're back with another episode of the Chicho's podcast, and we got a lot to discuss today. So today's topic is defining and aligning core values with Chicho's and with the business and with the restaurant industry. And it's been a fun year with that, I think, seeing you guys grow with it at Chicho's. But before we get started, I want to get on my little soapbox a bit. Maybe I'll take this jacket off. It's going to get hot in here.
Cold as hell out.
Well, it's cold outside, so we're filming this in February right before the Super Bowl. Just to give you guys some context. But I don't know, I've been getting a little sentimental lately because Strawbridge's 10th anniversary is coming up. And I just have this so I'm just saying what's on my mind in our first segment of what's on our minds. But yeah, I've been really reflecting, and I have this weird connection to my 14-year-old self, and that's when I started working at Chicho's. So I've just been reflecting on just the whole journey of Chicho's in my life. And also I think what prompted it was seeing Riley at Chicho's at Strawbridge last week, and it's Kyler's birthday today too, so happy birthday to Kyler. And yeah, maybe I'll get a little vulnerable today.
If you guys don't mind me asking, Luke is here again, by the way, but who's Riley for this?
My daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. She's 16 now. She'll be 17 in June.
Yeah.
And Kyler is his
My
other
son, he turned
his son.
14 today.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah, because when I see them, I see the little kids from
So do I.
years ago, and it's been a very sentimental time, I think, just the winter and the winter season. But I've been reflecting, just thinking back to my 14-year-old self and seeing how Chicho's has kind of helped me, I guess, come out of, a dark place or find, I guess, myself again. Because even though I was 14, I guess 10 years ago, it kind of resurfaced this past year, 10 years later, when I was 24, I think, right before I started Chicho's again, I guess after college, after going through the whole college journey, coming back to Chicho's that has also helped me come out of a dark place and really have, I guess, meaningful projects to kind of, I guess, put my creativity and my work into. And so just wanted to, I guess, start the conversation like that. I don't know if that's going to be too vulnerable for some people, but yeah. So what's been on your guys' minds?
Well, geez. Tough follow-up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think, hearing what you're saying with that intro, that was a little deep. But if that's your interpretation of Chicho's and it's helped you get through certain stages of your life when you're dealing with a lot of stress, then I look at that as a positive, I guess.
Yeah. Even though it is a stressful.
It causes me stress.
Yeah, and so I guess that's the beauty of the hospitality industry, because it can keep you busy and keep you stress free at the same time, causing a different type of stress.
Yeah, definitely different type.
And so, it's like work. I mean, I'm a workaholic, and when I was having some tough times when I was growing up, all I did was throw my time and effort into work, and it made me, not think about the other stuff that was kind of getting me to spiral down or whatever it is. But, that's a good thing that Chicho's will help you get through that, because it was a tough time when you were going through at that time at 14. But it's good that you're able to recognize it, address it, and cope with the stress that you deal with every day. So,
Do you guys have any feelings coming up with the 10th anniversary of the Strawbridge?
No.
Just another day.
We've done this. I mean, in the beginning, I think the anniversaries were pretty significant. Mm-hmm. But at this point, it's, I guess it's kind of just something that we should probably focus a little bit more on, but maybe we
10
don't.
years is a lot of time. That's
Yeah, I mean that's the fun part of it, because when we were tied to the bar aspect of the brand, I mean, it was a good reason to throw a party and celebrate and do that, But as we mentioned in the past episodes, as we get older, our objectives change, and now I'm more focused on what do I need to be doing now to keep it there for another 10 years. And I was just talking to your mom about that on the way back home this morning, about getting the PH team to run some forecasts and getting some numbers and see how the numbers will be looking 5 years from now. And because, minimum wage has gone up, costs of goods are going to go up, rent's going to go up. So we got to see where we need to be at from a fiscal perspective to be responsible, to see, what we need to do to hit those numbers.
Yeah.
And so going back to your original question of, core values, and what was the other part of the question?
Aligning those core values.
Aligning it with the team and stuff. So, Ed and I had talked about that maybe last year, that we knew that it was going to be a 3 to 5 year goal, because I think it starts with the culture. When you start shifting the mindset of your team from what they're used to and going from the nightlife or the bar scene into more of a restaurant space, it's a complete different business model. And so, you have to get the team to buy into what we want to do in diversifying the menu, lean more towards the restaurant side of this industry. And, hoping we're making the right move. I mean, we also talked about in one episode about, understanding your niche and being really good at it. And we were good at it at that point 20 years ago, but we've outgrown our demographic at that time. And so, we're trying to change the brand to meet our current lifestyle, so to speak. So,
which we said probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. So we need to. So now we're trying to get a little bit of fold back into our older side again of the business.
Yeah. And so it's an ongoing battle. It's a balance, and because every location is different. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, the question I have here is, what are the core values of Chicho's? So I think we could really dig into that, because I think you've kind of defined it this year.
Well, if you bring that up, I mean, that was because we started working with this marketing group. And how long were we working with them? Almost a year.
A little over a year.
And we were sitting in the meetings, and I felt like, well, your father over here, he's a very interesting person when he speaks. I know what he's thinking. He knows what he's meaning when he's thinking it, but he can't verbalize it a lot of times. And so I just sit there and I just look at him, and I hear him, and I listen to him, and I just try to pull out what he's trying to say. And it took a while for me to start grasping him, because he might use a certain terminology that I'll think it means one thing and he'll think it means something completely else. And you just got to keep paying attention to what he's talking about. And so we were going through all this stuff with the marketing team, and I think they seemed lost. And maybe we were like, okay, were we getting any results out of this? And so I kind of started pulling out what he wanted, or understanding what he wanted, kind of verbalizing that. And then I just tried to sit back as a customer, because if we had core values, or would you say ideology? Mm-hmm. I mean, we have to be at the mercy of our customers to an extent. I mean, I know we can have our own, ethical values or whatever it might be, but we have to sit back as the customer and what do they want? Mm-hmm. And what are we providing that they may want? What are we providing, or what are we not providing they may want, et cetera, like that? Because he brought that up last week or so. Mm-hmm. He wanted to ask people, what do they come there for? And I wanted to ask, why aren't they coming there anymore? Mm-hmm. So we had to I just kind of sat back as a customer and laid out what I think we do okay at in different locations, and kind of put them out there. And I said, this is probably what is driving our customers to come to us. We might be bad in some areas of this. We might be good at some areas of this, and kind of laid it out. And I don't know if it's right or wrong. I feel like it's right. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, we cover quite a few different areas in that. But he brought up a story about a friend last week when we were sitting here talking. You weren't here, about this guy's grown up and he doesn't really want to, hit our places. They don't make a certain drink that he likes. And I was like, well, shit, there's something, there's a niche we're missing. Mm-hmm. So there's always something, but can we satisfy everybody? Probably not. Mm-hmm.
I know a demographic we really want to get is the 20-year-olds. So I think it's a cool perspective to have Lucas here to kind of hear. I kind of want to hear his thoughts on like what the 20-year-olds nowadays kind of like and your perception of Chichos, because I guess that's a good tie-in there.
So my perception of Chichos, from my understanding and from my experiences, it's always just been kind of a local pizza place that's always been around. It's never been my favorite pizza place. It's always just been just the kind of the main local one that seemed to be the best. Growing up, I never knew of it as a bar either. My parents never went there either. They heard of Crazy Charlie's before, but they never went there. They were much more military heavy, so they would go to the military-friendly bars or the ones kind of closer to the bars or to the bases. From my perspective, I'd say as a young adult and from all of my friends and all I see on social media, I'd say a lot of people are definitely craving much more community-driven interaction and much more like face-to-face interaction ever since COVID. And I also think that we also have a very wide open field for live music as well. And so I feel like a lot of my younger adults are craving live music experiences or just experiences in general, things that they can have a story about or create an adventure somewhere where the mind can wander.
Okay.
Yeah. You have any 2 cents before I ask the next part of the question, or just give you some space on that?
I mean, it's difficult to, I guess, just get what you said, get a 20-year-old's perspective, because there's. Have you ever worked in a restaurant?
Yes, I have.
How long and where?
I worked at Outback for about 3 months.
In Cold Stone.
Wasn't your thing?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in the Cold Stone thing.
And then I worked
That's
at
right.
Cold Stone for 7 years, but that's not technically a full-blown restaurant.
Right.
That's, it's just ice cream.
Like, I mean, I think there's I think back to when you two did an interview and you asked if him at his age would hang out with you at your age. He's like, no. There's a wide different group of personalities
Even
in 20-year-olds.
yeah.
I mean, and I ask about the restaurants because even you brought up my daughter. You saw her in there, and I was thinking about your experience working there and her experience working there.
It's changed.
She I had no issues with her going and working there. She is a handful. She will handle herself. Nothing's going to beat her down, and she's going to take on all the crazy, like, she wants to yap back at people giving her problems.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, and like, there's a handful of, two different sides of personalities. So trying to, like you said, with his experience, what he was looking for, that might not be the next one. They might want to be sneaking in there just trying to, drink underage and hang out and just feel like that, So it's just it's a very fickle environment, I guess, that we work in.
Yeah, and the values, I guess, become more important in that sense because, like, even if you try and cater to everyone, it's like
you fail somewhere.
Yeah, you fail somewhere. So,
and I guess that's where sometimes, we're trying to cater to everybody because everyone's going to have a different experience when they come through those doors. I mean, Lucas, you don't drink, do you?
No, sir. I actually don't drink. So I'm
so that's
already
a different
weird
That's
person.
a different demographic versus, when I was going there in my 20s, I was out 3-4 nights a week, right? And so, him not connecting on the bar side of it because he doesn't drink is going to be different from someone else that does drink that is kind of expecting the bar side of it.
yeah.
That makes sense.
And then the same thing with his taste of pizza. That's a common thing. I'm originally from up near Philly. I mean, our pizza, I think it's decent. Is it my style completely? No. I like a different style pizza as well. So trying to please everybody on that too. And I tend to push my preferences into our menu a little bit, which I make other people test them. But it's a tough thing to do. You got to try to please everybody somehow. Or just be the best at one thing, and that's it. And you're going to alienate, a percentage of people.
Yeah, demographic.
I think a big thing, though, to understand, especially just in life or in business in general, though, is in order to win, you have to lose something.
Yeah.
And there's always a give and take. And so I feel like at the end of the day, you should just do what you want to do, and you will gain what you want to win, and you'll lose what's necessary to lose.
And you're right. And I think, if I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing with it, I'm going to put myself into it, or else I'm just going to be like, I don't really like this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go float through it, So I'm going to put whatever
soul
part of
into
me
it, yeah.
into, I can control the business and run with it.
Yeah, I think it ties back to our past episode of identity too, of what Chicho's is. So I guess values and identity are kind of one and the same coin. But would you want to go into what are Ed's commandments? I don't know.
I don't know if I can recite them.
Yeah.
And I don't like that name either.
That's fair.
I mean, I can probably run through them in my head. I mean, we focused on the live entertainment. We focused on, our pizza because there was a period of time where we were struggling with, do we want to be just known as pizza? And it's what's got us here. So I don't like to just push it away. So it's that. We've kind of strayed into a sports bar arena. We do a lot of stuff with the community, so we focus on that. We try to focus on our staff. I'm drawing a blank. What were the other ones?
I mean, you don't have to have them
No.
all listed out.
It's a wide variety of things that we try to focus on there, and we always got to push our food. And we're over at ODU now, selling at their sporting events, and we're just selling pizza there. So to go away saying we're not pizza, it's a tough thing because some people might have never heard of us, and that's their first experience with us. So we still are Chicho's Pizza.
But more than pizza.
But more than pizza.
Yeah.
You're right.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of thoughts going through my head right now. And, I think to Lucas's point, whatever we're knowing that we do need to keep the customer's experience, at the forefront, at the end of the day, it needs to be what we want.
What we're good at, too.
And what we're good at and what we believe in. Because I don't want to try to do something that I don't really think that I'm just doing it for somebody else. I think at first it needs to be doing for what we truly believe in, because it's going to be genuine to us, right? And that's probably why we've gravitated to more of the restaurant side, because we are now longer into the young man's game of the nightclub and bar industry. And to be that persona and think that we're going to be good at it, we're kidding ourselves, right?
That's why I've been slow playing you. I mean, your dad wanted a big menu jump a little while back. He's like, we just can't be doing this stuff. I'm like, you do know this is all our staff's known for so long. You got to let me. So I slow played new menu items in there. Like, it's almost like we're developing our people without them knowing it. Like they're starting to get a little more grown up on the menu, which I think is a good thing. We need to do it.
Yeah. And that's why
we're not changing it crazy. We're not going. You're not going to come in there and get some cloth napkin on your lap service at some point.
Yeah, we're definitely not fine dining. But at the end of the day, if the consumer that walks into that door gets value in whatever sense, whether it's, from a price point, a menu item, or the experience that they get from a service perspective from our team, then and they appreciate that and they get value, they'll keep coming back. I mean, I think that's so, if we had a true core value for the company is making sure that everyone is providing value to the consumer and their coworker.
I stopped somewhere last night just to grab something quick on the way home from doing something. And it was more, I didn't know it was a chain until I got there. I didn't realize what it is. I'm not going to say anybody's names or anything like that. But the service level was tenfold better than ours. Just the attention and the repetitiveness of what the servers were saying about what's on special, what they're focusing on that night, all their different menus. It was just hands down. I was like, damn, we are failing in this aspect right here. Because to me, sometimes it's over the top. I'm an oddball. I don't want to speak to a lot of people when I'm out. I just want to kind of be there. And they weren't bad, but it was almost to the point where I was like, all right, you're going to have to leave me alone now, please. But it was like a lot of people like that. And, and I noticed sometimes hours, it takes a little bit too long to get that kind of service. So my eyes opened a little bit last night and said, that needs to get a bigger push here in the next quarter.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to switch up the conversation, because I think yesterday we had a very insightful manager meeting, and thinking on how we can just instill values into people. I think you guys do pretty good job, actually. I don't know if you guys give yourselves enough credit of seeing how you guys instill values into the leadership team, and I guess how it kind of trickles down. But I mean,
I won't see it because I'm in the middle. I won't see it until he's like wraps up in the end. That's normally what I like him to do. I'll be in there just like task related, trying to get them to understand what we're doing. And he brings up pretty good points in the end and relates it back to their own lives and things like that. Because we're in the middle of trying to get the managers into, more understanding why we're pressuring such certain, KPIs and things like that, and where we're trying to get them to go. And it probably gets old, probably gets annoying. Okay, I'm not hitting it again. I'm not hitting it again. And it's just making it relatable to their own lives. I mean, I think he normally loops it back in the end. Sometimes he goes off on a tangent and a rampage and starts cursing and all this stuff. But it's passionate, and, I think it helps. So an outsider's perspective is pretty good.
yeah.
Because sometimes I think I'm just sitting there just beating the drum on them,
But sometimes I think I've learned, at least this past year, repetitiveness is sometimes more valuable than something new, where like people just need reminders.
7 times they say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, 7 times. And, it's human nature that people respect what you inspect. And, we failed the team, during the COVID years or after the COVID years because we didn't look at our numbers like we're looking at every week now, for 2 years, about a year and a half, actually.
Well, we were in a transition, trying to use a company we thought was going to be great for us, and we were
Yeah.
going down the road blind, basically.
Yeah. So we were changing our whole accounting platform. So we were in the blind for 2 years. And then when that company failed to provide what they said they would provide us, we decided to pull the plug and then went back to our old accounting system. And so, we were blind for about 2 years and not knowing our numbers accurately. I mean, we knew our numbers like generally through, what we've used, since day one with our weeklies and our bar variance. But we didn't have the financials, or we were doubting the financials if they were accurate or not. So
how important do the numbers play in like how you define the values of Chicho's and aligning it?
Number one in my book. I think it's the only reason we're still sitting here for so many years.
yeah, because the numbers, helps you predict and maintain cash flow. Now, is that a value? I don't know if it's a value, but it's a function of staying in business. Because if, I don't think everyone, if you can't put a value saying, we're going to make money, or, it could be a target or a goal that you're trying to hit, because at the end of the day, that's the whole premise of why you're in business is to make a profit. But knowing your numbers, it's crucial to sustain any business that you're in.
So it's more of a principle, I think.
It's a fundamental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I kind of see values and principles and fundamentals kind of.
Well, yeah, because
Synonymous.
the value of being responsible, fiscally, responsible, and I guess it is a value because you got to live below your means and make sure you don't over budget or go over your budget based on the forecast that you have, and it's a discipline that some people struggle with, and it's our job to make sure that they stay on top of it.
Yeah. And I know this is like a huge struggle with 9 locations too. So I wonder.
Yeah, it's a struggle and a pressure because I don't think they realize, we're trying to maintain their jobs and maintain the business that the doors stay open. And sometimes they don't see the bigger picture because they're more concerned about what's happening today, making sure that their bills are covered. And I understand that because we all used to be there. But our goal is to try to get them to understand the macro and the micro and make sure that we have that common ground in the middle. So, the communication is there that we both understand what's at stake. That makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, you have any 2 cents on that, Ed? Or
No, I mean, he hit it there. I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, like you said, it's a fundamental, and you're right, it could transition to a value. So I think it does. And
yeah, because I think I really like how we I think you guys put a lot of your personal values into the business values, I guess, of like how the Chichos has developed. So it's really cool to see from at least my perspective to see like how you've instilled the values in me and the same kind of, you kind of pass it on to Chichos too.
So him and I were talking last night when I was trying to juggle the schedule for this week. I was like, you know what? This would have been a good one if we could have got somebody else in here, part of our group.
Yeah.
I think if we're going to do 2 of these a week, we need to start doing one of them with somebody else in here too.
Yeah,
Because him and I can talk all day. People are going to get bored of us. Some people might see it. Some people might find value in it.
Yeah.
But hearing another person's perspective we work with,
Could be fun. I kind of like that.
both sides might learn something too. So
Yeah, because I mean, it's good to get feedback from all our other operating partners and our management team, and because everyone's going to have a different narrative, and it'd be great to see if you can put it all together, the whole story,
Yeah.
not just bits and pieces coming from, Ed and Louie.
Yeah. Because I definitely, looking into the future, at least talking to the audience right now, I guess what you can expect is we're really going to dig into the story of Chicho's, and like I really do want to capture the whole, I guess, essence of what it means to be a part of Chicho's. So I wholeheartedly agree with, I guess, that direction, and I hope maybe the Chicho staff is watching right now. I mean, this is maybe not a warning, but you guys are up next in this whole show. So I thought I would make the space for that for people watching. But I do find it interesting, though, how I guess all the different narratives kind of play out with Chichos. And like, again, people have their own personal values. But I'm interested to see like what happens when, I guess, these values get tested, or like when people have fundamentally different values. And I'm sure you guys have some experiences where you found people that necessarily didn't agree with some of the values you guys instilled. So how did you navigate?
you mean like a way, like a direction the business is operated, or what?
I think that, and just fundamentals. I think. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know how deep you want to go into it, but.
I mean, I've lost a lot of friends.
I was going to say it might happen, but it's one way or not.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of people just don't understand what it takes to run a business, right? And for that matter, a business in the hospitality industry where, I think we said before, where you got to be back there at 9 a.m. to be ready for the lunch rush, but then you close at 2 a.m. So you don't get out of there till like 4 a.m. and then go back. So it built a lot of work ethic, and it set a higher standard for us being in this business. But your friends and other people, then when they go into this restaurant or bar, they're only there for 4 hours max, maybe 5. And they see the glory days of, had the good times or whatever it is, and, that everything's working well, and they want to be a part of that. And so they try to get their feet wet. They try to work with you, and then they just don't have the same work ethic or the same vision or whatever it may be, and they don't last very long. So I've had to fire some people in the past because we weren't aligned. And so sometimes those are hard decisions you have to make, but that's the sacrifices as someone being in business, that you will have to make hard decisions.
And I think it, just like thinking through the years, it's probably been the people that might not have stayed around is because they weren't able to find ways. I can hear myself. I sound very stuffed up. Excuse me. They haven't been able to find ways to keep operating in a certain manner. In the beginning, you're going to have to really do a lot of things on your own. Your life's going to suck. It's going to be very terrible. You're going to burn both ends of the clock, like you said. But then you have to create systems, train people, get them to be, extensions of yourself so you can pull away from that a little bit. And I think a lot of people don't understand that first part of it, because it could take 6 months, it could take a year, it could take 2 years. It takes as long as it takes until you get there. And some people just put a timeline or, just say, well, I'm not doing that, So it's almost like, and I know him and I have said this before, like once you give somebody a title or a position, they feel like, okay, I've arrived. I don't need to do anything else anymore. And then it's just, I can do whatever I want. It doesn't work that way. And a lot of, I mean, we have people that have gone through it, done it, been successful, got comfortable, business started crumbling around them, and now they have to go back into it again and redo it. And it's a struggle. Like I've said to him, I said, when, my kids are older and out of the house, I'll go do a single location by myself again. And I say that, but I'm sure it's going to be difficult in the beginning again. He tried to do it one time too. If you're bringing up back to the beginning of this whole day today for you for the Strawbridge, that was his theory. He was going to run that by himself again. Well, he can give you that good story.
Yeah, 10 years ago, that conversation, that story could be fun.
He told me, I'm going to run this one. I was like, oh.
But, again, I think that was a different time period in my life, different objectives because we were trying to grow. But I'm still confident. Like if I choose that, okay, I'm not going to go focus on this company that I've invested in, or I'm not going to go open up more Chicho's brick and mortar. And we wanted to make the best of what we got currently. I am 110% confident that I can run one location and get that in line within 6 months.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Because, that would let nothing distract me. I wouldn't be, okay, I have to go open up this location or go find a deal here or go do this. Because I actually enjoy doing what I do. And then going back full circle to run a location to prove somebody wrong that, hey, I told you this is what all it needs to do. That would be the other motivating factor. Because I just know I'm just confident enough in my ability that no one will match my work ethic because I love to work. And with you guys not being in that, I'm an empty nester now. I don't really have, you guys are young adults, it would be easy.
Then, when you're having young kids, because it's kind of like raising a kid, huh? The restaurant.
It is.
You have any more?
I'm not a workaholic. I just don't want to be beat and don't want to lose, so I'd go do it, no problem.
Yeah.
But I just know that with different, knowing that you have different processes, different approach to the process, I would just know I would look at everything with a different set of lenses and make it better than what we currently have. Because I would be living and breathing it, right? Instead of me on the outside in. So
there comes a point where you have to accept some things, even though it's not right. When we're at this stage right now, it's difficult.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to turn it off. Because you want to treat everything as the most urgent issue or detail that you need to handle, but at this point you can't do it. And it took a lot for me to turn that off. Like I had to stop paying attention to certain things just because they would drive me pretty crazy. I'd overthink it, not sleep, wake up thinking about it. Like it takes a lot to turn some of this stuff off.
Yeah, and that's something that's as a leader you have to develop because when you start off, you do everything, right? And you become the jack of all trades, and then you have to accept the fact that you have to believe in the system that you've created, and trust the people that you've put in that place to fill in the gaps of part of that process. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to scale. You have to work out a plan for yourself to have an exit strategy, believe in the system, trust the process, and train the people to continue basically the assembly line.
Yeah.
Sometime we'll get the guy Jimmy down in Lewiston, Texas now. And partner Michael's still with the Hickory one. There was a point where there was just them two running two locations that we had. And he wasn't really involved. I was trying to play rugby back then, so traveling all the time. Whenever I'd leave, I'd write them 4 pages of worth of notes, just basically holding their hand through everything they do. I was that hell-strung on this has to be done my way, this way, everything. I was gone for weeks at a time too, though. So it was do this on this day, do this on this day, do this on this day. And they were my partners, and I was just that controlling over it. I'd love to get them in here, and they probably hated me back then.
Yeah. Actually, that's a great idea. I think I'll reach out to them.
Yeah.
Holy crap, yeah. Shoot, I just lost my train of thought. But that was an awesome story, I think. Let me think back. But yeah, getting to the culture, I think I don't know if you see, but I think the culture is shifting, and I think under the Chicho systems, you guys condition people towards success, and then I guess again, it's up to them to do the digging and like, but you give them all the tools and you give them all the systems and you give them all like the things needed for success. But what happens when people still fall short? You know, like.
Well, I mean, that's where we have to make the hard decisions on whether or not, you know, because I always question myself.
I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah.
Because I know what he's about to say. I'm going to tell you what happens. He looks at me. He's like, we didn't give him enough time. You didn't give him enough time. He points his finger right over there. You didn't give him enough time. You didn't train him right enough. You didn't do this. We didn't do that. Our training sucked.
A
And
lot of
then
accountability.
a few times he's done that to me. I said, you know what? Okay, go ahead. Take it. And then he comes back to me. He's like, all right, maybe you were right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and anything, because it is a tough decision when you have to let go of somebody.
Because you invested time into them.
Because we invested, you know, X amount of time, X amounts of capital, and you're like, okay. Then I question our processes and our systems. Did we do a good enough job getting that individual to the point where we need them to be at? And so, you know, I'm the biggest critic in our own locations. And, you know, is it me questioning their ability in doing what they do? No, but it's more of, you know, like a check and balance. You know, construction, did we do this? Did we do that? And making sure that our training is there. And what did we miss? And, you know, once we go through that process, and, you know, sometimes we do have to make that decision. Okay, it just wasn't a fit. Okay. And I got to get better at that. And I think Gary Vee says it best, you know, hire fast, promote faster, and fire fastest, you know. And sometimes we cripple ourselves because we don't let them go, and we end up wasting time and resources.
But we also know it's difficult for us to find people because we expect quite a bit. We're not the easiest, I guess, organization to work for on that, you know, management level, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean,
or that's just an excuse maybe too. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a tough place to navigate. But yeah, I think this whole conversation definitely hits home. I mean, if you could imagine having someone like Louie as your dad, and I'm sure like Kyler and Riley might resonate with this, but
I was just saying, we're not that much different.
yeah. So it's interesting to see how I guess values kind of transfer in knowledge and wisdom. So I really do appreciate you guys being very candid and raw with all this whole conversation, because it has helped me develop values and hopefully integrate with, I guess, the team I've been trying to develop with, I guess, the business I've been trying to work on. So it's been really fulfilling. I don't know if Lucas has any thoughts on it, because he's part of my team that I've been trying to work with. So.
but you know, you're putting that pressure on yourself, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you control that. And whether or not you want to live under my shadow or whatever it is, you're no different than anyone else. We're just providing opportunity. At the end of the day, it's up for that individual to recognize that opportunity and do something about it, or not do anything about it. At the end of the day, be happy in whatever you decide. But, you know.
Are you putting yourself on a timeline? Is that the pressure? Okay. I was going to say, because I don't think I ever put myself on a timeline doing anything in this. It just went with the flow.
Yeah. And that's why I have thick enough skin, because I didn't put myself under pressure, because I didn't ever put myself in a predicament financially to have these other pressures where I lived above my means.
Put yourself in a position where you're more likely to win, you know.
Yeah. I didn't want those outside pressures. So, you know, I just bartended, saved all my money. I mean, and I enjoyed it. Now, did I know it was going to lead to all this? You know, no. But, you know, the whole journey was fun. Now that I reflect back on it and we look at it, okay, when did I recognize that opportunity, or what was, you know, this was stressful or whatever it is? But
yeah, I mean, I think this whole journey itself has been really fun. And I think just connecting with you guys has been very fulfilling.
Yeah, well, I think it's the beginning. I think it's just,
I'm just thinking, like a year ago, where was I? Because we did pass my, I guess, year on this, which was interesting.
Again, don't put yourself on a timeline. I mean, that's just, it's good to have like targets and stuff, but
If there's no real external pressure on yourself, don't put internal pressure on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, our goal was, I wanted to have, we had 9 locations. I wanted 12.
Mhm.
Okay. So am I a failure because I didn't hit 12 in the 3 years that I said I was going to do it in?
No. Yeah.
Oh, well, no, I'm going to go do something different. We decided to do food trucks. Okay. We're just pivoting. So
Yeah.
did I lose any sleep over it? No. Did I let it bother me? No. It
Yeah.
was just it was an idea. It was a thought.
Mhm.
And I don't let it consume me.
Yeah. I do resonate with that. Yeah.
Good.
All right.
But now we're into the last segment of the whole thing of weekly motivations and sources of inspiration. So one moment of goodness from the week, one thing you're looking forward to, and then one aim or dream you're working on.
My son's birthday. That's a good point this week. Looking forward to the Super Bowl on Sunday. And what was the last one? One thing I'm working on?
Yeah.
I got a lot that I'm working on. Got a to-do list on my phone a mile long. But and just kind of like you said, I get that way. When I look at that to-do list, it's like paralysis, because you got so much, you just sit there.
Yeah.
And then I get really uptight about it. I'm trying not to do that. I'm just trying to take it as a task at a time. Some of them are a little bit more important, so I just put them up at the top, and I'm not upset that those ones are down there. But I do. Sleeping is a little tough. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and just oh, man, there's about 8 things I was supposed to do. And then I'll just be like,
Yeah, I get those nights.
then I'm not going to sleep the rest of the day. Then I'll wake up exhausted and just repeat it. So I'm trying to just pick through those, day by day.
Thank you.
I hope that helps you too.
No, that helps. Yeah, because I get those nights.
Everybody experiences a lot of the same things you might. Don't just feel one off about it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the world really tries to make you feel alone, I think. I mean,
they want you to see things. Everything's successful and great. And no, it's not.
yeah.
Yeah, life will punch you in the face.
Yeah.
What were your 3 things again? I
yeah.
forget.
Yeah. So, one moment of goodness from the week, one thing you're looking forward to, and one aim/dream you're working towards. I could slow down too if you need.
I mean, what was good this week was getting motivated by watching podcasts or reels from Gary V, just to kind of get my mindset right, just to motivate me. I mean, I've been following him for years and finally doing this. So, but I mean, watching his story and watching the old videos of him and made me believe that, okay, we're on to something. When I feel right in what I'm doing. Whether it's going to come to something, I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing this week. I mean, when I'm working on, continue to figure out how to grow within our existing infrastructure. Working on getting another food trailer. And then future. And there's certain other stuff outside of Chicho's that I'm working on. That
I'm looking forward to.
That's the future, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to some other businesses or investments that I've done outside of Chicho's, as well as Chicho's, because, there's a goal for me to open one in Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah. That'd be really cool.
And so the agent called me and I said if it's still available next year, that we would look into it.
That's a good dream to have.
Yeah, I mean, but it would make sense. So if the numbers make sense and everything gets aligned, it could be.
Then he has a chance to prove himself about that one he's going to run again.
Yeah, I'm going to run one location, whether it's Puerto Rico or here. So
I'd love that.
Before we go, I actually have some questions about the newest location at Pleasure House, right?
Yeah.
You guys converted that to a barbecue, or you're running a barbecue out of that? Can you talk about that, please?
Well, we have a partner that has a barbecue business, and we serve their barbecue on our menu, on different menu items. And we always had to go get it from him or get it from one of those locations he had. And now we have a guy that's worked with him for years running that location, so he has barbecue experience. And it almost became a barbecue place. So we were like, why not just have him do all the barbecue for all the locations right there, put the smoker out there right on the road, attract attention. There it is. That's how it happened.
So all of our prep with the barbecue is going to happen at the Pleasure House location because the general manager that we hired has all the experience of grilling out. That's how they cook their barbecue. Smoking it, grilling, smoking,
cool.
grilling.
So what prevents you guys from just making that a barbecue place?
We don't think it was given the full potential of the Chichos in the beginning. How many months has it been there?
A full year, but the first 9 months it was running as like a carry-out and delivery with no ABC license.
We were testing it.
We were testing that model, and then we decided to get the ABC license, and then that last 4 months maybe it's been there, but we've had some turnover, and so that was a struggle. And so we're going to try to give it the full effort of running it as the Chichos how it is today. And then we're just adding the barbecue because we already serve that on the menu. So it doesn't make sense to spend the money to change the facade and the aesthetics back to a barbecue place when we can kind of accomplish the same thing by our actions, by grilling the barbecue with the smoker out there. So we'll see how that goes.
Pretty cool. Yeah. But we could answer the questions too, Lucas. I'd like to see some goodness from the week from you and what you're looking forward to before I answer.
Oh yeah, what are the 3 questions again?
Yeah. So audiences keep asking. So one moment of goodness from the week, one thing you're looking forward to, and one aim.
One moment of goodness of the week. It was my birthday on February 2nd.
Happy birthday.
Thank you
I
guys.
should have known that.
And
My
then
bad.
one thing I'm looking forward to is I have my birthday dinner tonight. I'm going to Repeal Burgers.
Nice.
And then one dream that I have, I'd like to own my own like tree nursery.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Cool.
Right on.
Interesting.
All right.
Go ahead, Jake, your turn.
All right. So one moment of goodness from the week. I don't know if this is. Well, I thought it was good. I got a filling today at the dentist, so maybe that's why I got a little slight lisp. I wasn't expecting my tongue to get numbed, so that did not go to plan. So hopefully it doesn't stray from the conversation too much. But I thought that was good to get over because I had a cavity.
Do you want me to yell at you?
Yeah, but I guess people might not see that as good, but overcoming that was good. And then one thing I'm looking forward to, going to New York with the girlfriend Sunday, just for a day trip. I didn't realize it was the same day as the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl Sunday, huh?
But it was a cheap ticket, so we're gonna go see Wicked.
Yeah, cool.
So I guess it was cheaper because of the Super Bowl, so save some money there. And then one dream, really building this out more and having it more professionally done and produced in a way that's like really fun and just, really just a good time. I think just for bringing more people in. I think that's my aim.
That's what I'm pushing you to anyway.
Yeah.
I'm here for fun. So
Yeah. This is all fun.
Told you that on episode 1. I'm here for fun. So
Yeah. So I'm
now you have a
glad.
choice.
It really does make me happy that you guys are still having fun with this. We haven't really lost that much steam yet. So we're going to keep chugging along with this. But now to the one-word close. I guess I could start us off with fire. I guess fire is my one-word close. You got
Spring
one?
that on me.
Sorry.
We just say a word?
Yeah, one-word close.
What are you feeling?
Just in one word.
You said fire? Water.
Nice. Congested.
I like that.
I'm just going with what I'm feeling. I'm feeling congested.
I'm feeling sore.
Nice.
Got back from the gym.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to the Chicho's podcast. I don't know if we'll stick with that name, but I think that's the name for now. And yeah, more than pizza.
All right.
See you guys.